Welcome to today's edition of Mission Imagination. I'm joined by Professor Mercedes Delgado, Associate Professor of Strategy and Innovation at Copenhagen Business School and a research affiliate at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Her research explores innovation, entrepreneurship, and the forces that shape inclusive growth. Today, we'll be discussing the gender gap in intellectual property and why it matters for innovation ecosystems. We'll also talk about how universities can inspire and support more women inventors. Professor Delgado, welcome to WIPO. We're very, very excited to have you with us today. Now, before we delve a little deeper, I'd like to provide a quick snapshot of where things stand at the moment. So, despite progress, women remain significantly underrepresented in the IP ecosystem and as inventors overall. And according to WIPO statistics, women accounted for only about 18% of all inventors worldwide as of 2024. And I think the statistics are quite similar for other IP types like trademarks and entrepreneurial activity in general. So why and how does this gap affect economic competitiveness and innovation? And why, from your perspective, is it important that we work to close this gap?
Thank you. This is a great question. Indeed, countries have been making progress in including more women in intellectual property efforts in patenting. However, even as of today, as you mentioned, we have a large inventor gender gap. The numbers are even worse if we look at, for example, women productivity in patenting. Women account only for 11% of all the patents in the world as of today, so very recent data. Now, why do we care? For multiple reasons. One is innovation-driven growth. Ideas and innovation drives growth, and there is a lot of evidence for that. From the work of Paul Romer about the importance of ideas and knowledge because you can reutilize ideas, so that's very important for impact, economic impact. Also, the most recent Nobel Prize in Economics awarded to John Mocker, to Philip Aghion, to Peter Howitt, they emphasize how technological progress and continuous innovation drives growth. So, if we increase the pool of inventors through inclusive innovation, we're going to have more ideas, more technological progress, more innovation, driving growth. So that's one reason why we care. Another important reason is that the gender gap in innovation is not simply a supply side problem, meaning that it's not just a problem of skills. Over time, women have increasingly participated in science and engineering training in top research universities at the bachelor level, at the master level, at the PhD level. However, we don't see that increase translated into higher participation of women in patenting. So this means that we have underutilization of women talent. This is highly trained human capital that we're not utilizing. So this is a very inefficient use of our resources, and this is preventing us from solving more problems and induce more innovation. Another reason is that if we have a larger pool of inventors with more men and women inventors, we're going to broaden the solution space and the problem space. Meaning, in terms of the problem space, it means that we're going to be solving new problems that have been understudied. For example, female inventors can study solutions for women's health problems and challenges. It also means that the solution space also gets bigger because we have more inventors, diverse inventors, so that we can find solutions to all problems and new problems. And these solutions are going to be science-based innovation, deep technology innovation, and ventures that can solve important problems in energy, in food tech, in any field. And sort of to wrap up why we care, why this is so important that we try to close the gender gap in innovation, is that if we use all the talent that we have, trained talent, our human capital, our innovation systems are going to be more resilient to shocks.
Yeah.
And we're facing lots of shocks: the digital transformation, the clean energy transformation, and future shocks in the future that we don't even know yet, that we're going to have to solve those problems, right? So we need to use all the talent.
I think that makes so much sense as I hear you speak. I really like how you highlight, maybe this is not just a problem of equality, but it's on missing out on key ideas, key skills, and stronger innovation overall. And it really goes to show that you cannot be competitive if you're not fully utilizing all of the available talent that you have. So building on that, I love to maybe shift to the more practical side of things and ask you about what you see as one of the more effective solutions to addressing and closing this gap.
So the gender gap in inventorship is a very complex problem. So it means that there is not a single solution. We have to think about a portfolio of solutions. But there is one type of initiatives that are going to be very important are early interventions. In particular, training young new inventors. This could be PhD students that are going to be filing patents during their graduate training. This could be new inventors within firms. And the reasons these new inventors is important is because cumulative advantages. So the sooner you start inventing, the better. You become a more productive inventor. And the idea is a simple idea. Success brings more success. So these young inventors are going to be more productive, helping also not just themselves, individually they're going to be better off, but also the whole economy is going to be better off because we're going to be innovating more. So then how can we then promote this, right? Promote these young female new inventors. And we can think of two types of initiatives. Ones are going to be supply side initiatives that are going to take into account gender differences in attributes of the scientists, in the behavior of the scientists, in the access to the resources that you need to commercialize science. So those supply side factors can drive the gender gap. So how can we help reduce or tackle these factors? First, it is very important that female scientists have access to faculty advisors that are very prolific inventors. Because a lot of the training to become an inventor, to commercialize science, is going to happen in collaboration with faculty advisors. Or it could be a mentor, someone that is a prolific inventor within a firm. But this is very important. This training happens with the help and with the collaboration of existing prolific inventors. Second, we can also think of initiatives that could increase the scientists' preferences for patenting. So how can we help all the scientists to be excited about engaging in patenting and other types of intellectual property, protected innovation? And the way to do that is to show to them the economic value and the social value of patents. Patents are very important because you are innovating, you're solving big problems, but also there is an economic value. If you start patenting, especially as a young scientist, that means that your wages are going to be higher. Your job opportunities are going to be higher. When you leave the university and you join a firm, they're going to see you as an inventor because you already have an inventor hat, you already have a patent. And that is going to give you further opportunities to continue to innovate within firms. We just want to utilize all the talent that we have, regardless of demographics.
That's super insightful. And I think that it goes to show how IP and entrepreneurship is also the key to making ideas more protected, more valuable, and also more likely, I think, to reach the markets. And I also really like how you highlight that this isn't just about more representation of women or equality. It's also about, this applies to any underrepresented group as well. Thank you, Professor Delgado, for sharing your valuable insights on women's participation in IP. I think your work shows both the challenges but also the opportunities to make innovation a lot more inclusive, not just for women, but for any underrepresented group. And this is so important because tapping into all of the available talent that we have is important for economic resilience, for economic growth, and for better ideas and also better solutions.
Thank you for having me.
If you found this useful, don't forget to subscribe to the WIPO channel for more on innovation, creativity, and intellectual property. Thanks for watching.